All right, how's everyone doing today? Welcome back. I'm Andrew. This is, I think, number three that I did. So today we're going to talk about VA disability claims. They're very easy. I recommend you do them yourself. We're going to go over some little things. This is kind of a quick overview. Um, we'll go more in depth in another episode, I guess. Um, Personally, I think they're very easy and pretty straightforward. So let's jump into it. Like I said, VA claims are not difficult. There's a lot of companies out there that will say, hey, you pay us $2,000 and we can guarantee you 100%. They're going to use their own doctors. They're probably going to exaggerate some issues to make it seem like you deserve that 100%, and you might actually deserve it. That's fine. Uh, but you're giving them full access to your medical records, your social. Some of them will ask for your e-benefits account. I mean, you're giving them access to your complete records. I don't trust people. I do it myself, and I got it to 100. I don't think it's that hard. Make sure your medical records are on point. Uh, Trying to prove that you have a medical condition that's service connected that you have no proof or have never seen, no issues while you were on in service, that's you might be fighting an uphill battle. Now on the other side, anything that is in your medical records, claim it. I mean, the worst they do is either say no, you're fine. I mean, that would suck. But they can also just give you a 0% service connected. And I'll go into that later. Lastly, go to your appointments. Plain and simple. Jump through the hoops. We're all in the military. Play the game. The VA schedules an appointment. Go to it. So the process is very simple. If you go to the Va.gov website, go to disability, and it'll even have a little what is it, like survey, to where it'll ask like when you serve, are you claiming new conditions, et cetera, et cetera. And then it'll be a little continue to submit a VA claim. And you just fill it out. Asks you what uh, conditions you're claiming, brief overview of how are these service connected, and then there's like a point where you can submit medical records or evidence that you may have that the VA doesn't. The VA does not talk clearly with the DoD, so they might not actually have all your medical records from when you got out. So you can re-upload, I mean scan and submit it with your claim, and now they have all those records. So once you submit that claim, the VA is going to set up C&P exams, compensation and pension exams. This is where you go to those appointments. If you don't go to those appointments, they're just going to deny the claim, and now for you to reopen that, you need to submit extra paperwork to fight that denial. It's a headache. Let me tell you, it's a headache. I did it once for the sleep apnea because I was over in Kuwait, but the C&P exam was going to happen after I left Kuwait, and I tried getting it rescheduled. The VA denied it within like a day of the appointment that was missed. Came back stateside, submitted the extra paperwork, and resubmitted the proof of insomnia and all the sleep issues and sleeping medications that I was on while I was in service. They rescheduled that CMP exam, passed the exam. I ended up with the 50% for sleep apnea. So once they complete all their CMP exams, you may have more than one. If it requires a specialist, they'll send you to the specialist. If it's like one specialist and then one general doctor can do the rest, you'll have those 2 appointments that you need to go to. Then that all gets piled up through the CMP office, and they send it to the focal point, who decides whether or not you get a rating or not. If some of them are service connected or not, no 2 people are going to be the same. I'll tell you that now. Just because I got 30% for my back, lower back surgery that I had, back pain that I still have, the next person, they might be at 50%. And then the third person might be at 10%. Everyone's medical conditions are different. So don't just think that because you saw online that one person who had anxiety got 70%. Don't think that just because you have anxiety and it's documented that you're going to get 70%. You might get 50%. You might get 80%. Every person is different. The key on all this is 0% service connected is still a rating, because they're service connecting that issue. They're just not going to compensate you for it. Now, monetarily compensate you. Since it is rated and service connected, any medications, doctor appointments, those are all covered. Later on down the line, if those conditions get worse, it's already service connected, you can file for an increase. It's a lot easier, because 10 years down the road, if you're going to try to claim an issue that's not already rated, 10 years after you got out, trying to claim that it was service connected becomes a lot harder, and the burden of proof is on you. And that's where nexus letters and supporting documents from past coworkers, supervisors are going to come into play. And then once you get your rating, you accept it, or you can be like, okay, no, you're saying something wasn't service connected. You can argue it. And there's documents that you can fill out as well. And again, on the Va.gov website, I'm very bad with technology, and I was able to figure it all out. I went through some headaches learning about it all, but in the long run, I think I managed and I got 100%. I have friends who got to 100%, and I have some friends that they got out and they didn't do everything in time, and they're fighting to get certain things service connected because they waited 10 years after they got out to file for VA. So my advice, I'm not a VSO, I have no connection, no affiliation other than that I'm a vet. Once you get out, start it. Plain and simple. I mean, I was at the VA. See, I got out on September 23rd. I got my DD-214 on the 25th. That afternoon, when I got my DD-214, I was in the VA applying for health care, doing all the like benefit section paperwork, getting enrolled, and just hit the ground running. My case is a little bit different, same with everyone else who's been med boarded. When we go through the IDES process, we're already in the VA system for the CMP exams. For everyone else, up to 180 days before your ETS, before your separation date, you can start your CMP exams. You just can't get an actual rating until you give them that DD-214. Same for us. When we got med boarded, we got a proposed rating because they need that rating to decide whether or not to retire us, give us a severance package or whatnot. But our rating doesn't become official until we give them that DD-214, because you can't collect two federal paychecks for the same thing. So you can't collect the VA while you're collecting your active duty paycheck. Even with retirement, and there are certain cases, if you're a 20-year retiree, look at the concurrent retiree payment. It's like CRP payments. It's where you can get both of them, your retirement and your VA, fully without each one going into each other. But for that one, you have to be 20 years, have to be retired, and get your CMP rating. If you're under 20 years, you can't get it. So if you medically retire at 18, and you get VA disability, you only get one. Now all that does is, let's say you're getting $2,000 from retirement, but you're 100% disabled. The disability is just making it tax-free. So your overall of what you're bringing in is going to be your 100% VA. So, and you can look up the information on it. If you're going to go that route, I would talk to the benefits section or a VSO. They know more on that. I wasn't in that boat. But, so going over it all, the key, once you file your exam or your claim, go to the appointments. You go to the appointments, tell the truth, and you go from there. I think it was easy. Don't try to file a claim until your previous claim has closed, because the new claim will just trump the other one, and the other one can get deleted. So once you file a claim, let that one close out, then resubmit a new claim if there's a new issue that you didn't think of. Hell, I think I had to do 3 different claims to get to the 100%, because there would be some issues that when I was going through the med board, that I didn't think about, like acid reflux, GERD. I have heartburn and I have to take Tums every night. Little things like that I didn't think of on my initial claim. On my next claim, I put down that I got heartburn, and I got, I think it's 10 or 20% for the GERD, because I have to take it every night. They just did diagnose me with celiac disease. So I'm probably going to submit that one just so it's in my records. And if they do end up going back in 5 years from now and going, okay, hey, you're 10% for whatever, we're going to take that away because it's cured, I still have that other 30% now, or whatever celiac disease is, and that covers it. So I'm still at 100% whether or not they go back in and review my records, which they do. So again, make sure you go to your appointments. Make sure if you have an issue, you don't just see them the first time and then never see them again. Because if you don't go get the issue checked out for 2-3 years, well, any logical doctor is going to say, well, you obviously don't have that issue. Otherwise, you would need to see doctors for it. So why are they going to pay you? Simple. Whatever you claim, make sure you go to the appointments. Simple, right? And it's not like they're going to have you go every month unless it's an issue that requires it. But it just be like for my back, I only have to see my doctor once a year. I do physical therapy every once in a while. I get back injections. So overall, I might have 3 appointments a quarter, which, yeah, that seems like a lot, but I do have some issues with my back. But other issues like heartburn, my high blood pressure, everything else, once a year, me and my doc talk. Yep, I still got them. Renews the medication. All right, talk to you next year. Have a good one. Simple. So, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one.